Stepping into the next level of the agency blueprint, we're about to make big moves by building your dream squad, focusing first on scouting the top-tier player in the game. Let's dive straight into the details. No time to waste. We're about to unfold some critical knowledge, starting with the real talk about why mastering the art of selling is key even before you've fully mastered your craft. Next on the agenda, we'll break down the reasons behind our hiring choices, and trust me, it's all for a good cause. And finally, we're getting to the heart of the matter, embarking on the journey to discover and bring in your MVP. Let's kick it off with some insights on why making moves in selling is paramount even before you hit that mastery level. It's all about the mastery curve, understanding that just knowing the ropes of paid ads isn't going to cut it. To truly excel, you've got to get in the game, hands-on, and elevate your skills to expert status. We're talking about a journey that's not just a sprint, but a marathon. Years in the making, but let's not forget, to really get the ball rolling, you've got to have clients in your corner. This is where it gets real. We're in a classic chicken and egg situation. You've got your eyes on mastering Facebook ads, but here's the twist. You're hitting a wall because clients, they're not in the picture just yet. You're caught in a loop where implementation and learning aren't syncing up. Without the ability to put those lessons into action, mastering P-ads becomes a distant dream. And without that mastery, signing clients, that's off the table too. This is the very chicken and egg dilemma we're aiming to sidestep, by any means necessary. People often fall into the trap of thinking a simple online course can unravel the complexities of P-ads. But let's keep it real. It's more like trying to ace tennis through video tutorials alone. It just isn't going to happen. What we need is to get our hands dirty, dive in, and build a business from the ground up. And that's exactly where we step in, transforming challenges into opportunities. Waiting to hit that level of mastery before you offer your services? That could be the biggest roadblock to your success as an agency owner. Instead, we flip the script and employ the value arbitrage method. Now, about the 12 archetypes, I might have bungled the pronunciation, but that's beside the point. What you really need to grasp is that different strokes work for different folks. We've all got our unique strengths and pathways, and that's what we need to tap into. Diving a bit deeper into this concept, it becomes evident that individuals naturally gravitate towards distinct categories. There are those who thrive in environments that offer a strong sense of structure. They seek order and predictability in their endeavors. Some individuals find their passion in building connections, fostering relationships, and engaging deeply with those around them. Others are motivated by a desire to make a lasting impact, driven by a sense of purpose and the aspiration to leave a legacy. Then, there are those who lean towards the spiritual, valuing safety, knowledge, and the pursuit of freedom. Every person brings a unique set of character traits to the table, painting a diverse and intricate tapestry of personalities. And this diversity, it extends to the roles within any given tribe. Different individuals naturally fit into different roles, each contributing their own unique strengths and perspectives. Different individuals in our circle play distinct roles, you know? We really vibe with that whole leaf and mark dynamic. We're all about breaking free, chasing dreams, pushing boundaries, and achieving greatness. It's not a one-dimensional game we're playing here. Take it like this. You might see yourself as an outlaw. Yeah, that's on our chart. But at the same time, you might be an artist at heart, embracing innovation while thriving in a structured environment. It's all about finding your groove within the ecosystem we've laid out. You see, it's not about boxing yourself into one category. It's about understanding the various roles in our circle. To truly master your craft, you've got to tap into your strengths, give them all your focus, and let them shine. The shoemaker's all about perfecting his kicks, the baker's whipping up wonders, and the advertiser's crafting compelling narratives. It's the rhythm of progress, the dance of civilization. But on the real, I'm not about that life of sticking to one hustle till the end of time. I truly believe we're brimming with potential, capable of juggling multiple things at once. I'm not here to tell you to narrow your focus to just one pursuit. Nah, that's not it. I'm just pointing out that we all have our own loves, our own passions. Think about it this way. You've got your crew, your brothers, your kin, and they've got their own vibe, their own hustle, something you'd never even dream of diving into. So, you get it, it's like, you don't want to be pushing up against the natural flow of things. When you stretch yourself too thin, trying to conquer every field, doing it all solo without tapping into the wisdom of the seasoned pros, you're setting yourself up for a tough ride. Spreading your energy across too many lanes, you hit resistance. The universe throws you curveballs because you're stepping out of sync with the natural order of things. It's like you're swimming upstream when you could be riding the current. Drop the pride, check the ego at the door, and recognize this. Progress, real progress, happens when we collaborate, when we connect with those who've mastered their craft, tapping into their expertise. Schools, society, they've got it twisted, painting a different picture. But this right here, it's a crucial awakening, a vital shift in perspective that too many overlook. Schools got this whole solo mentality ingrained in us. You feel me? They're preaching that we can't team up on projects, can't bounce ideas off each other. They want us to stand alone, face the exams solo. There are moments when you've got to handle business on your own, no question about it. But man, I wish we were encouraged more to work together, to really tap into each other's strengths. When we bring our A game and link up with others in their zone of genius, that's when the magic happens. That's when we create something legendary. So that's the blueprint we're following right here. Take Elon Musk, for instance. Now, I'm not his biggest supporter or anything, but you've got to give respect where it's due. The man has achieved a lot, and he did it by bringing together the brightest minds, leveraging their strengths, and creating synergy. That's the secret sauce right there. Musk isn't the top engineer walking around his facilities, but what he does masterfully is bring in exceptional talent. He recruits the best of the best. Plus, he's got this powerful mission, something that really resonates and gets people excited to be a part of. No doubt, he's got to have some solid leadership chops to pull off what he's done. He manages to assemble this dream team of engineers, some of the brightest minds you could find. That's how he's knocking out these major achievements, bringing big visions to life. All right, let's dive into why we go down the hiring route. First off, let's touch on the flip side, freelancing. You've got folks out here trying to juggle every task, wear every hat. So let's break it down, put both sides on the table. On one end, you've got the freelancer, doing it solo, diving into sales, service, communication. You name it, they're on it. But here's the catch. They're spread too thin, nothing's getting the full shine it deserves, and they're walking around feeling strained and overwhelmed. That's the picture on that side. Usually, this person pulls in smaller retainers, and that's because there's just not as much value seen in what they're offering. You're getting a bit of everything, but it's not clear what the main act is. It's all a bit blurry. And then, right in the middle of things, there's a pause, a glitch in the flow. Why does that happen? Why the sudden break in momentum? It's on record now. Look, we're rolling. Did anything else get clicked? Nah, just hit space. Hold up, keep it down. Damn, Chris, you got me messed up. I didn't realize we had to hit play like that. Now, where were we? Yes, talking about perceived value, or rather the lack of it, because you're riding solo, doing this all by yourself. We're talking about a one-person show here, no team in the backdrop. Naturally, the perceived value takes a hit. You've got your attention spread out thin across the board. Since you're knee-deep in everything, there's barely any time left to pour into revenue-generating moves, like hitting sales and outreach hard, which, by the way, we're diving into in the next module. It's a setup that keeps him stuck, unable to scale. He's caught in the cycle of just keeping things afloat, just maintenance. Plus, he's capped at juggling 2 or 3 clients max, because his plate's already full. There's no room for more. Now, let's flip the script, look at our end, see how we're playing the game. So here's our move. We pass off the service, bits of the reporting and communication, and dial in on the heavy hitters, the activities that really rake in the revenue. Landing meetings, closing deals, signing on new clients. We're not chained to the agency around the clock. Instead, we're out here actually enjoying the fruits of our labor. That's the lifestyle we're crafting. The growth is rapid, the scale is real, all because the focus is locked in on the needle-moving activities. They're climbing higher, quicker, all while blessing their clients with top-tier experiences. And they're breaking free from the constraints of time and personal bandwidth. Why? Because they've mastered the art of delegation, especially when it comes to delivering their services. We put our energy into the sales, into locking in clients, which is exactly what this program is designed to help you nail down. Now, you might be pondering a couple of questions. This sounds great and all, but why would a client choose an agency over a freelancer, especially when the freelancer might be the more economical option? And you might also be wondering, why would a freelancer opt to work with us instead of just kicking off their own agency? What's in it for them? Let's dive into why a client might lean towards an agency rather than a freelancer. Here's the thing. People are willing to pay a premium for experience. Think about it this way. Technically, we could hire a private driver, but instead, we choose Uber. We could rent an apartment directly from an owner, but we go through Airbnb. People who truly value their experience. They're not just out here renting any random ride or staying in just any place. They're looking for something tried and trusted, something that promises a certain level of quality and convenience. And that's the kind of assurance an agency can provide compared to a freelancer. And when it comes down to it, they're willing to pay a bit extra to feel secure and to be in the hands of a proven, established business. People crave that sense of safety. They're willing to invest more to ensure they're receiving premium service, confident that they're making a choice that promises a higher standard of service. It's about securing peace of mind, even if it means skipping the cheaper option that doesn't bring the same level of trust and proven success from a business perspective. Operations run smoother. There's an expectation for agencies to uphold a higher standard of professionalism, ensuring every aspect, from communication and reporting to service delivery, is tight and on point. This is something particularly valued by larger clients. They're looking for that assurance, that reliability, and agencies are often better positioned to provide just that. It's not solely about the outcomes. It's about establishing robust protocols for communication and reporting, and all the foundational elements. Then, there's the full funnel approach. Now, even though a lot of agencies might drop the ball on this, clients generally anticipate that agencies will bring a more comprehensive, all-encompassing perspective to tackling their marketing and business growth challenges, compared to a specialist freelancer who might have a more narrow focus. And this, right here, is my zone. Once we've got these clients in the bag, my main focus with my mentees is ensuring that we're not just delivering, but we're delivering exceptionally, giving them a 360 experience. Now, our current chapter is all about landing those 1 to 3 high-ticket income clients. But that's a little insight for you on why clients tend to lean more towards agencies. Now, let's flip the script and talk about why a contractor enjoys their role. First off, it's less complex. As entrepreneurs, we willingly take on more, shoulder the burden for the potential of a bigger reward, right? But you've got to realize that's not the path everyone's looking to walk. You've probably picked up on this just from chatting with friends and family, am I right? They're like, yeah, entrepreneurship sounds cool and all, but nah, I'm not about that risk. I'm not trying to carry all that weight on my shoulders. And that's the vibe for a lot of people. They're just not cut out for it, not looking to live that life. Contractors, they're not really about building up a squad or handling those no's, putting money back into the hustle. They're just trying to secure the bag for the skills they bring to the table, you feel me? And honestly, living that contractor lifestyle, it's pretty smooth. No need to hit the streets looking for opportunities. Clients just come straight to you, ready to pay. All you've got to do is stay locked in on that one thing you do best, delivering your service. That's the whole game. For real, the money might not be top tier, and you might not be pushing your limits, climbing to new heights. But hey, some folks, they really vibe with that, and you've got to give respect where it's due, right? Moving on, we talk about the specialists. They're all in on their craft, it's their world, and that's where they want all their time to go. And then, you've got the upside of less weight on your shoulders, not having to carry the load of a team or clients relying on you. So, when they hit the pillow at night, it's all peace, just looking out for number one. Meanwhile, I'm catching Z's with the weight of team salaries, the business, clients, and all that on my mind. And for real, I'm all in, completely in love with it. Wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. Just know, I've adapted to the risks, the highs and lows. It's all second nature now. And I'm telling you, for me, it's worth it for the kind of reward that comes with it. You've got to grasp this. Many big-time entrepreneurs, they might not really get this distinction. They might even believe everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur. But the real talk? Nah, most folks, they aren't on that path, and that's just how it is. All right, diving into the hiring process, you might be wondering, why now? Shouldn't bringing people onto the team come after securing clients? Why make moves in this order? Well, let me break it down for you. First off, the reason we're tackling hiring right this moment is because it's a game changer in giving you some breathing space. Back in the day, interview calls had me all kinds of anxious. But real talk, they prepped me for client calls like nothing else, just because the stakes aren't as high and it's a solid warm-up. Even if you feel like you've got Zoom calls down, the type of interview calls I'm diving into, and I'll get more into it in the next video, trust, they're going to ease you in and boost your confidence for those client interactions. The next thing on the list, it really sharpens your messaging. You're out here, presenting your agency to these potential team members, right? And they're going to hit you with questions, no doubt. All this back and forth, it's a prime opportunity to really solidify your agency's identity before you even step into the sales arena. I'd much prefer getting grilled about our mission or the reason behind what we do by a team member, even if I stumble a bit. It gives me a chance to reflect, get my thoughts in order, and come back with a clear, solid answer. That's a whole lot better than fumbling through that with a potential client I'm trying to bring on board. Hit me with that question, and I've got the answer locked and loaded, no doubt. Now, moving on to the third point, this is all about boosting your confidence as you step into your sales game. Not just because you've had a chance to loosen up, but because you've just scored a win with an A player on your team, someone who's ready and able to deliver on your offer, and that's a game changer for your pitch. We're talking major psychological power here. Think about it. Stepping into a sales call knowing you've already got a team member locked in, someone fully capable of delivering the service you're pitching, that's a whole different level of confidence. Having that team member in your corner, ready to deliver, it injects a real sense of confidence in what you're putting out there. You know you've got someone solid backing up your offer. And the last key point here, you definitely don't want to be in a rush. Reflecting back, my initial 3 hires were done in haste, and honestly, they weren't A players. They were more like B players. By the point you've got a client on board, it's too late to just start searching for a team member. You need to understand, this could be a 3 to 4 week journey to find the right person. It might even wrap up in 2 weeks, but I'm really pushing you to carve out 3 to 4 weeks. This way, you won't be stressing if the applications aren't flooding in by week 2 or anything like that. Putting in the time, giving it the space it needs, that's crucial. Now, let me lay it out for you. This hiring process, it's extensive, but the results? Unmatched. People often oversimplify hiring, thinking it's as easy as hitting up Facebook and snagging the first person that pops up. But that's far from reality, especially considering the significant role this new hire will play in the success of your agency. If you can't lock down someone who brings top-notch service to the table, particularly in these early stages, it's going to shake your confidence. And clients? They'll sense that, and they won't stick around for long. You've got to have that solid foundation to keep everything running smooth. Investing the time to do this right, it's going to pay off big time in the long run. So here's the breakdown. On one side, we've got various channels to scout out potential hires, and from there, we channel them straight into filling out an application form. We're aiming for a solid 60 applications, all right? Once we've got those in hand, we move them through the interview rounds, starting with round 1, then on to round 2, and finally, round 3. After navigating through these stages, that's when we'll make the call on our A player. I've got you. I'm going to walk you through every single step of the process. And check this out, we're even going to set up some backup options, which is super key. This thorough hiring process, it's all about numbers. The more folks you sit down and talk to, the higher your chances of finding that standout individual. 'Tis all about having that safety net. If your top pick doesn't pan out, or you realize maybe they weren't the right one after all, having backup options means you're covered. And stay tuned, because I'm about to show you how to set up an event on Calendly in just a moment. But the main event right now, we're going to dive deep into this worksheet. I'm about to pull it up for you. It's called Finding You're a Player. You can grab it right below the video. As always, feel free to click on it, hit make a copy, and it's all yours to use. I'm not about to read the whole thing to you. You've got this. You can read. but what I'm going to do is guide you through each part of the process. So kicking things off with step 1, we're on the hunt for experts, reaching out far and wide. Our target? Hitting 60 applications in our Google form. This step? It's crucial, can't stress that enough. Now, the first spot we're hitting up in our search? Facebook, all right? And we're diving deep into Facebook with a couple of strategies. Facebook groups? They're a gold mine. So, yeah, that's right, we're tapping into Facebook groups. Here's the plan for handling these groups. We're rolling out a new job post. You gotta dive deep into the whole content, understanding every single part of it. We're breaking it down, step by step. But hey, we ain't trying to make a marathon out of it. No 1-hour-long video or anything, 'cause honestly, that'd just be overkill. I'm just shining a light on the crucial parts, the main things you need to pay attention to. So before you even think about hitting that post button for the job, I suggest you warm things up with a little welcome post. It's major key. And listen, it's non-negotiable. All the material I'm dropping in this program, you gotta switch it up, make it your own. I'm not saying this for my health. If you sleep on this advice, you might just find yourself getting called out. I'm laying it out real plain from the jump, not just that, but I'm telling you straight up, it ain't gonna work if you just take it as is. So what I'm doing here, I'm handing you a blueprint, a structure. Now, it's clear as day, you can't just run with that and expect magic. You've got to remix it, put your own flair on it, bring your own juice, your own sauce to the mix. Let's get one thing straight. You can't just copy-paste what I give you and think success is going to come knocking, thinking you can just slide by unnoticed. Nah, that's not how it works. People will notice. You'll get called out, no doubt. So I'm laying it on the line here. You've got to switch up the material I'm giving you. Are we on the same page with that? All right, cool. I'm giving it to you straight because I don't know your whole story. I'm not sure if you've been hopping through a bunch of other online courses or what. But yeah, I just really want to make sure you don't fall into that same trap that catches a lot of folks who take all these courses. They just grab everything they get and hit paste. No thought, no twist of their own, just copy-paste. And on top of that, there's no guarantee that the stuff they're sharing is legit or proven, right? So now you're looking at a risky mix. You've got folks copying material that hasn't been tested or verified, and it doesn't stop there. Other people are doing the exact same thing, spreading unproven stuff like wildfire. And when that happens, it's like everyone's just copying each other and nobody's really standing out or succeeding. You feel me? So please, understand this. The stuff I'm giving you, it works. It's tested, it's proven, all right? That's solid. But you still gotta put your own spin on it. It's essential. And I believe a lot of folks kinda miss that point, you know? Hey, catch sight of a script. And I'm laying it out for you right here and now because we're about to venture into territory where there'll be a few scripts, a couple of things here and there, okay? But I'm really pressing this point right now, urging you to lock this in your memory and carry it with you as we move forward. Many folks catch a glimpse of a script and they start thinking, all right, Jamie, the mentor must be successful because he's got these exact words down pat. But that's just not how it is, right? The real deal, the whole strategy I'm laying out for you here, that's the reason we're finding success. People see a script and their minds jump to, okay, it's all clear now. Jamie, our mentor, is nailing it because he's got these words down to a T. But let's get something straight. That's not the magic ticket. The real gold is in the complete strategy I'm handing over to you. That's the true secret behind our success. It's really not about the exact words I'm using, okay? So don't get it twisted, thinking that just because I've dropped some lines about my experience in the game, that these precise words are the key. Sure, it holds some weight to mention your time in the field, to highlight your journey and expertise, but it's more than just the words. It's about the essence and the strategy behind them. But remember, you don't need to echo my exact phrasing. You feel me? Keep that in mind. It's not the specific words I chose that make the difference. It's all about the overarching strategy. What we're aiming for here is setting the stage with an introduction post. We're all set to roll out the job post now. I'm about to show you a sample of a job post I did, okay? And once again, I'm laying down an example here, not handing you something to directly copy and paste. That's crucial. Gotta remember that. Not just that, but I've taken the time to break it all down, okay? I've dissected why I chose the words I did, so you don't have to just replicate my exact wording. Instead, you can grasp the psychology behind it and apply that understanding to your own words, right? And add your unique touch to it, right? So take phrases like team and keep killing it. I use these to ensure they felt I was one of them, a member of the tribe, not an outsider. Like when I say high quality, it sends a clear message that our agency means business. We're serious about what we do, right? And dropping words like that, it kind of strokes their ego a bit, making anyone who responds feel like they're confirming their own high-quality status. They're essentially sending a signal to the rest of the tribe, showcasing their excellence, which in turn makes them more inclined to gravitate towards my post. It's all about understanding those subtle cues and triggers. Mentioning that some of our clients are in the framey category is crucial. Now, we're not out here bragging about having agency clients, but we're keeping it real, being completely transparent. Truth-telling is key in this whole process. It's vital to stay true and not fabricate where you're at. But the way we frame it, we're setting it up to spark excitement and interest. See, when I say something like, to handle some of my agency's clients, I'm not outright saying I've got a roster of clients at this very moment, nor am I talking about future clients. It's all about the presentation and the vibe we're creating with our words. I'm laying it out there, you feel me? Talking about these agency clients we got in our circle. Once they're with us, it's a whole different game. I've dissected every part of it, really went deep. Make sure you give it a thorough read. Understand the intent behind every word I put down. But grasp this, switching it up is key. Right now, it's vital, you gotta make that move. Alright, looking at the smaller squads, you gotta see they're aiming for something close-knit. So, this whole in-your-face direct approach for the job listing? Nah, that's not gonna fly. Alright, so what you wanna do is something that has a similar vibe to this. Rocking the same kind of mindset, you know? It's crucial to switch things up. But on the real, I've been vibing with the content you've been dropping so far. Since y'all have been in the game for quite some time, I've been giving props where they're due, showing respect. Figured maybe you might have someone in mind who'd be down for this position. Any leads or assistance you can throw my way would mean a lot, for real. Holler at me, admin, if this is too much. I'll pull it down straight away. I'm laying down the respect heavy here, right? Asking around, seeing if they've got someone in mind, right? As you're catching on, this vibe is way more chilled out, way more easygoing. You feel me? You'll notice more often than not, folks will step forward themselves, okay? And your message will smoothly sail through the admin's gates, okay? So the admin will peep it and think, hey, this ain't a regular job post, I'ma let it ride, you know? And I've kept it respectful, you get me? So lock that in. Now, just a heads up, when it comes to Facebook groups, I really wouldn't bank on pulling in 119 comments like back in the day. And that's totally cool. No stress at all. It's not really about hitting saturation point. It's more about how the algorithm plays out, right? Nowadays, getting people to really engage and generate traction on a post, especially if you're not an admin in a Facebook group, that's a taller order. So just bear that in mind, all right? Essentially, it's not about racking up a ton of comments. I'm pretty skeptical about hitting those high numbers in the Facebook group comments these days. And I just want to keep it all the way real and set the expectations straight. And that's precisely why I've laid out a bunch of different routes for you, okay? So you're not just putting all your eggs in the Facebook group's basket. If your job post in the Facebook group flops, don't sweat it. Give it another shot. Maybe switch up the offer a bit. Finesse the wording. But just be aware, you know, it's probably not going to blow up with reactions like it used to. It could, though. I've seen some students still pull it off, but honestly, it's a lot about luck and timing at this point. Okay? That's exactly why diving into direct messages is such a crucial move right now. Okay? I've thrown a little direct message template your way, and it's super important that you put your own spin on it. If you don't, there's a chance you might get called out. While it's doubtful, they might be receiving the same kind of messages from others, so you really want to ensure that you're making yours stand out and feel personalized. So that wraps up the Facebook strategy. Moving on to handling the application form. As soon as people start dropping comments, you want to follow this game plan. Hit like on their comments, shoot them a friend request, and slide into their messages with the application form. We're going to dive into the details of that in just a bit. And just like that, you're set. I'm about to break down for you how to whip up this application form. As for LinkedIn, I've laid out the blueprint on how to hunt down the right people. I won't dive too deep into it, but basically, you're going to want to work that search bar. Maybe throw in a few extra filters to really dial in and find exactly what you're looking for, okay? And then you can start making connections with these folks. And don't forget to add a personal note to your connection request, okay? Trust, this will all start to feel like second nature once you really dive in and start navigating through LinkedIn. But remember, it's pretty crucial to switch up your wording. You don't want to get called out for sending cookie-cutter messages. And with that, you're good to go, okay? Moving on to Upwork, the process is straightforward as well. With the job post you've crafted, or are in the process of crafting, you'll want to ensure you take that and share it on Upwork too. So, you set up a client profile, hit the Post a Job button, and just follow the steps I've laid out in the plug-and-play template. You'll find everything you need access to right below this video. And once those applications start rolling in, make sure to express your gratitude for their interest, and in your response, include a link to your application form, guiding them to fill it out. It's really as straightforward as that. So, about the application form, right? I've just walked you through it, and while you can definitely get into the nitty-gritty details below the video, I've just demonstrated the right approach for reaching out. Now, let's pivot to talking about driving traffic to the questions, specifically the Google form we're going to set up. So here's the thing. I'm about to break down how to assemble your Google form. And just a heads up, sometimes dealing with Google Forms can be a bit of a hassle. It's got its quirks. So if you're ready to dive in, I recommend just hitting New, selecting Google Form, and getting started from scratch. Yeah, I'm not about to walk you through every single click, mainly because Google Form can really test your patience when it comes to copying forms and dealing with all those little details, you know. And just a heads up, the questions I'm providing are more like a blueprint, giving you a sense of what you should be asking. But I can't stress this enough. It's absolutely crucial that you switch things up and make them your own. If you don't, you run the risk of not attracting the right kind of talent for your team. I'm laying it out real serious for you, right? So when we shift gears to talking about contractors, I've got a set of questions for the Google form you're going to be creating. I've dropped some ideas here, okay? This is the crowd you want to send it to. And within that Google form, you should aim to have two distinct sections. Now, the first section should revolve around scales. And just a note here, you don't need to stick with this exact title. It's vital that you mix up the order, tweak the phrasing of the questions, and throw in some questions of your own. But to get you started, here are some questions that I'd suggest including. Where are you currently located? Have you ever managed Facebook ads, specifically in relation to Facebook and Google Ads for clients? If so, could you share how many clients you've worked with in the past? Have you utilized your services, whichever it may be, to boost sales in the e-commerce sector? If that's a yes, could you break down the specific niches within e-commerce that you feel most comfortable handling ad campaigns for? What kind of budget sizes are you accustomed to working with? Now, here's a crucial question. Would you classify yourself as a freelancer, or do you run your own agency? This distinction is vital for us. We're on the hunt for freelancers, not agencies. So this one's a bit of a trick question. And even then, sometimes when they confirm they're a freelancer or a solo operator, I like to dig a bit deeper. I'll ask, what's your motivation behind choosing not to run as an agency? And here's the thing. I'm not looking to hear, oh, I'm planning on starting my own agency in the next few months. That's not the direction we want to go in. I'm really just curious to witness your performance, you feel me? I'm seeking out someone who's truly passionate about that freelancer lifestyle, and they're straight up saying, nah, running a business isn't for me. I'm all about doing my own thing, staying in my lane as a contractor. Yeah, those are exactly the right folks, the kind we're on the hunt for because we're aiming to keep them around for the long haul, you know? We need them to be totally at ease in their role as a team member, not out here trying to switch lanes and become a business owner. How many clients you got on your roster right now? Just switching it up a bit, but this should give you a little taste of the kind of questions you need to be throwing out there, all right? It's going to paint a clearer picture for you about their rate and how they operate. All right, so we've wrapped up that first part. Moving on to the second, this one's all about you. Cool? Now, this is crucial, trust me, and it all boils down to the distinction between input and output questions. Let me break it down for you. A lot of folks, when they're in the hot seat interviewing SOCEs, they tend to lean towards asking output questions. They hit you with queries like, have you ever tackled this before? Or what's your average ROAS looking like? And talk to me about your usual results. What's the average? You feel me? Those queries, no doubt, they hold weight because we need a fundamental filter in place. If they ain't ever handled ads before, then it's clear as day they ain't the right match. But to truly get beneath the surface and sift through these candidates, we gotta start dropping those input questions. Input questions. We're talking about inquiries like, who's been guiding you on this journey? What kind of knowledge have you soaked up to produce the results you've just shared with me? And peep this, the reason why this is key is because when it comes to output, man, anyone can spin a tale about that. I could easily boast, claiming I've racked up this much, I've pulled in that much. But if I flip the script, start digging into their input, and they hit me with, I've had no mentors, no classes, I haven't read any books on this, that's when things start to look shady. You know how it goes, trash in, trash out. But when you're feeding your mind with quality, that's when you start seeing greatness on the output end. It's all making sense now, right? It boils down to what we're feeding our minds and the caliber of mentors we surround ourselves with. And this doesn't mean you need an army of mentors, not at all. I'm actually all for zeroing in on one specific thing and tuning out all the unnecessary chatter. But real talk, you do want to ensure that you delve a bit into their world. These are the input questions we're talking about. You might want to ask them, have there been any mentors guiding you through? What kind of books have you been diving into? Yeah, you gotta hit them with questions like that. And just to lay it out clear, if you've made the cut, the next move for you would be to lock in a call with me. So tell me, where's the ideal spot for me to drop my calendar or schedule link for you? I'm about to break down how you can do that in just a moment, okay? So that wraps up what we need to cover on the form. Ensure you get that form crafted. I've also laid out a few pointers here on what you should be keeping an eye out for within that application form. All right, check this out. The first thing you gotta know is we're aiming to bring on a contractor for $400 to $600. Now, it's crucial this never exceeds half of what you're pulling in from your client's retainer. Say a client is dropping $1,000 on your services, you definitely don't want to be shelling out more than $500 for the contractor, you feel? Now, just to be clear, this doesn't mean that when you bag a $3,000 client, what you pay your contractor should shift. Nah, that rate should remain steady across the board. But on the real, if they come at you saying they're trying to fetch like $3,000 per client, then it's a sign you don't want to be wasting your precious time there. On a real note, you ain't looking to bring an entrepreneur onto the team, and that's major. When they get their shot to chop it up about their strategy, responding to one of the questions I laid out for you, it's crucial they don't hold anything back. They've got to lay it all out on the table. It's all about the spend over the raw numbers. When we're talking paid ads, I'm way more interested in the amount of money they've managed, rather than just the ROAS they've hit. This is key, all right? Yeah, that's return on ad spend. We've got to look beyond just the surface level. You might have pulled off an average 5x return on ad spend across the board for your clients, but if we're talking a total spend of just $1,000, that's not really turning heads, is it? I'm more inclined to tip my hat to someone who's managed to handle a cool $1 million in ad spend and has consistently hit a 2x ROAS. Now, that's what I call impressive. Diving into the part about you, the real top-tier folks are going to hit you with a whole list of different influencers, books, courses, and mentors they draw inspiration from. So, when you're sifting through those 60 applications, drop a yes next to the ones showing promise and a no next to those that just ain't fitting the bill. You're aiming to line up about 30 to 35 interviews for that initial round, which we're going to dive deeper into in our next session. Now, when it comes to handling the applications, here's what you got to do. Sift through them, pick out the folks whose applications resonate with you, and reach out to them. Your goal? Try to get around 35 solid candidates for that first round of interviews. We're going to get into all the details on that in the next video, all right? But what you really want to do is hit them up with a Calendly link so they can book a call with you for that initial interview round. So what you need to do is click here to sign up for Calendly, and I'm about to run you through a quick tutorial on how to set up an event. Trust, It's straightforward and easy. So now we've landed inside my Calendly. I've already set things up on my end. Normally you'd find a button right around here. I'm not going to display it right now just to keep things confidential, but there should be a plus sign and an option to create. Alright, so after hitting that button, it'll lead you to this page. Here's what you want to do next. Create a one-on-one event. Just click Create, and then go ahead and name it. Something like Round 1 Paid Ads Works. For the location, you can select Zoom. Okay, now if you don't see Zoom as an option right away, you might need to take a moment to connect your Zoom account to Calendly. Moving on to the description, keep it straightforward. You can jot down something like Round 1 of interviews for our new paid ads position, or paid ads interview. Whatever feels right for you. Alright, you could just keep it simple, label it Round 1, give it a color, and then hit Next. Now, go ahead and set up your availability. A 30-minute slot per interview should do the trick. From there, you just pick the times you're open for these conversations, and voila, you're all set. Alright, hit Next, and you're almost there. Just make sure to add an email reminder, okay? Keeping it simple and straight to the point, that's how we set up Calendly. And with that, we wrap up this module. We've covered finding help earlier on, and I've provided you with some questions to spark inspiration for your contractor application. So, it's crucial that you switch things up. I can't stress that enough. When it comes to your action steps, it's quite straightforward. Finish working on your Finding Your A-Player worksheet and start the process, or at least read through it meticulously. I've guided you through the key aspects, but it's vital that you go through it with a fine-tooth comb to ensure you've got everything covered. Don't forget to create your Google form and also to set up an event on Calendly for that first round of interviews. And with that, it's time to get moving, start searching for your A-Player. Catch you in the next video. Take care.